So it's like, I know they're not like dying like that, but some people might be like, you're over traumatic, but like you have no idea how much time we spend with these women every single day of our lives. They're like sisters to us, and not being able to do that next year is like really heartbreaking. So, and they just have such an impact on our program and who we are as people, so it's really sad.
Yeah, and I feel like not being able to get that win for them on senior night was really hard for a lot of us because they've given so much to this program.
Yeah.
As you guys have faced a lot of adversity, people being out of the lineup this week, what reasons do you think you guys can get it back on track now in the NCAA?
I feel like this week has been really, like you said, we've had a lot of adversity this week. It's been really difficult. And we kind of didn't really have a bunch of time to really think. We were kind of just thrown into a little bit of a different lineup, and we just had to run with it. And I feel like we'll be able to prepare a little bit. We'll be able to settle in. We'll be able to settle in a little bit more. We'll be able to see the kind of level that we need to be at. We saw glimpses of it, but I think we were pretty high error tonight, and that's why in the end we didn't pull out the win. But I think we all know the level we need to be at.
Winnie, what first doing with Salmon won pretty well 19-11 and Minnesota kind of regrouped because of that. What was that like? What was happening on the court?
I think that we just settled a little bit too much. Like, we had so much energy. We were coming out. It was like, what was it, 18 to 11? And I think that we just kind of like got into what we thought was a groove, but we let them handle the game instead of like us handling the game. I know our huddles we talked about were like really frantic, and it was kind of just like we were trying to kill balls, but were we really trying to kill balls, or were we just trying to get them over and in? And so I think that we just, in that moment, we should have grouped together a little bit more. And we started to do that more in the second and then going into the third, but it was a little bit too late.
Anything else?
Thank you.
No problem.
Well, first of all, again, we had to change our lineup again. We switched setters to who went what rotations with what hitters. We flipped hitters. And so anyway, all kinds of changes. And I thought we came out playing great, but then you saw what happens when you don't practice. You're not in a rhythm. You're not doing that for, that Minnesota lineup's been doing that for the whole season, and they're in a, very good rhythm and know where everybody is, and we just got discombobulated and lost that first game with a big run, but we played hard, we competed hard, we didn't give up, and so our players deserve some credit for that. Minnesota deserves credit for winning that match. They played really well tonight, and it's just been a tough week for our players.
Is this the most adaptable team you've ever had?
Well, they've had to be adaptable, but it just shows you, how hard it is to be good at a high level, and it's only a couple points here and there. But I saw some things tonight I've never seen our players do, air-wise and swing-wise, and it's just there was just a lot of uncertainty tonight. So and because we're playing, all these different lineups. And again, I didn't find out. We didn't find out. Nicklin tried to practice today, couldn't practice, and then there we are. We're scrambling, trying to, okay, what adjustments are we going to make? How are we going to do this? So that's how much. It's not like we go very hard on game days because we have a match to play tonight. So.
Why did you want to flip the rotation rotations with your setter and your outside? Why did you flip those two?
There's a lot of reasons for that. We mainly look at passing, where we wanted to try to have Maddie in the back row more. We wanted to have Whitney hit off Ani, so that was flipped there because Lindsay's been hitting off of Kennedy, and we flipped Kennedy's rotations. She took Nicklin's rotations, and Ani's used to those rotations when she played, so I wanted to try to keep it as, because she hasn't played, so I wanted to try to keep it as simple for her. So you you guys go to China, they got these dudes that are spinning plates, and they get all like 25 plates all spinning at the same time. That's what it felt like this week, trying to get these plates spinning, and so we got some momentum or direction we're heading, and so I feel for our players because I mean it's so hard to get a great team going, and we were, I mean 6 days ago we were humming. And then you can see one player, one situation, two players, it changes everything. That's why volleyball is an ultimate team game. It's 6 people, 900 square feet, the ball's moving fast.
Do you hope to have Nicklin back next week?
I hope so, yeah. We'll have to see. But she lasted about 20 minutes in practice today, and that was it.
That lead in the first set, then you got stuck. When Jenna Wendes was serving there, why'd you get stuck right there with her?
Minnesota made some great plays, and we just we couldn't find a kill. We started pressing, and I think Kenny was setting those rotations, and we missed some passes, and then we pressed more. It's just, I mean, I can't remember the last time somebody made a run like that on us. But again, that's just not. It's just not preparing well enough and being in a rhythm and playing together enough in those lineups and those rotations.
No questions? Emotional weekend, obviously. How do you mentally guide this team so they're in a good place entering the NCAA tournament next week?
I got to figure it out because I've never been in this situation before, so we have to figure it out. And I think it'll get better once we know, like Maddie, she's been playing next to Kenzie for 4 years here, and so is Lexi. We were the best passing team in the Big Ten, and now we're trying to figure out how to pass again and who has what balls, and that was part of the run. We were confused on what balls. Allie took some balls that weren't hers, and it's just, it's. You guys think about it, that serve's coming about 40 miles an hour. Think of a car coming at you that fast, and there's 2 people, you got to decide who's going where. And so we got some stuff to figure out, and hopefully we'll have a week to prepare and try to get a little smoother. But it's a big challenge. But I hope you guys give our fans credit for, sticking around for the senior night. That's pretty special, and that Caitlin Hort said it all about what this program means and what it meant to her, and because she's already been through a senior night once, and so that's pretty awesome, and that's one of the things that helps you get through nights like tonight and weeks like this week, is seeing that, because that's really what it's all about after the wins and losses, is seeing the look on those parents' faces and those players and what this means to them. And our fans, and how much they appreciate them.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.